I want to thank you for coming in today. I know that you could have done anything today, and so this investment of your time, we're going to honor. That's why I wanted to start. It's, even though it's like 10 after. One other thing. Welcome to the SLC Talent Factory, Steve Cozart. I'm the S and the C of the SLC. My lovely wife Laurie is not here. She's the L of the SLC. So it has nothing to do with Salt Lake City whatsoever. Other than the fact that she was born there.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long story. Anyway, tell me your name, and although we know her very well, and why you're here. There's 3 things. Tell me your name, one thing that you'd love to walk away with today, as far as knowledge, one piece of information that you really want to know, and then what you've done, kind of quick story in the business.
My name is Lonnie Gates. I'm here because my daughter has studied under SLC. Basically, she decided she wanted to go full-fledged. She took a hiatus for school, for college.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have a lot of faith and confidence in the school and in calling. And I'm here because I need more insight. She wants me to act as her manager.
Momager.
There you go. And wants me to promote her, and I felt that being here would give me the tools to help do that for her.
Very nice. Thank you. Right here. We'll go front row.
So my name is Joey Berube, and I've been here for about 3.5 years now. I'm here basically to find out more information about how to act a little better, like such as facial expressions or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently, or about some while back, I was over in San Francisco for it was really quick though.
Like an audition?
Yeah, something like that, where they just take my picture and ask me a few questions, but they didn't have a spot for me.
Isn't that true? Isn't that how auditions are? You walk, you wait, you drive for an hour, you park, you walk, you get there, you wait, and you're in and out. Click, click, thank you very much.
And I also recently got down with Beauty and the Beast in Castro Valley.
Oh, that's right. Joey does a lot of stage productions and musicals. He's really good. He sings very well too. Hi.
Hi, my name is Loretta Ray, and I'm here because I want to become very, I have the word, I want to be professional in my craft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to get as much information as possible, and I'm really interested in how I can market myself and branding. So that's another reason why I'm here. And I haven't yet done anything in the business, although a few years back I did do some voiceovers.
Okay. Well, that's something in the business, isn't
Yeah.
it? Very nice.
And that's it.
And we know each other. We just did your shoot.
Oh yeah, I just did my photo shoot.
Yeah. You did the cowgirl. Very nice. Second row.
So my name's Keely Durden, and I've been a full-time actress in the Bay Area for about 5 years. And I'm here today for several reasons. Number one, I wanted to check you guys out. I guess I've been on your list for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think mainly because you work with kids, and my daughter is also an actress.
I see.
But anyway, so I saw this and I wanted to come, and you can never learn too much about marketing.
Can I get a yes?
Bottom line.
Yes.
So I definitely want to do that. I would say the biggest problems that I've had, I have TV credits, I have film credits, but I still can't get the agents in San Francisco to see me. So I guess anything that has to do with getting an agent, any secrets, anything like that would definitely be something
Great. You're in the right
I'm
place.
interested in.
Awesome. Thank you. Keely.
My name is Gwen, and I have 2 kids that are actors, and they do come here to Steve's school when we can get here. I live pretty far away. And I just recently signed with an agent a year ago, so I've been doing some work. My goal is to be a film actress,
Mhm.
and I'm here because I want to know more about promoting, marketing, not only my kids, but myself as well.
Great. Thank you. Over here.
Hi, my name is Candy Kalen. This is my daughter, Alyssa Kalen.
Candy Kaling just kind of runs off the tongue, doesn't it?
And we were referred by Henrietta,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to check out a little bit of acting or getting into the business. We've done nothing
Okay.
in the business.
And where do you live out in the Discovery Bay area?
Yes. We've done just like
That's where Henrietta lives. So I'm thinking, I'm putting two together here. I'm pretty good at that. And go ahead and speak for me. What's your name? Let's start with that. What's your name? How old are you? And how tall are you?
I'm Alyssa Galen. I'm
Alyssa? Allie, okay.
I am 13 and
How tall are you?
Tell us, Mom.
I'm 5'4".
About 5'4", okay. And you want to check out acting and commercial acting and modeling and that kind of thing? Okay, very nice. Well, you're in the right place. We don't buy heads off here. The Bay Area, as you may or may not know, is mostly commercial work. Commercial work is a broad scope. It's commercial print, it is voiceover, video game type work, voiceover for that. Sometimes even the motion suits for video games, where the actors are wearing the motion detectors over a green screen or blue chroma. There are industrial films or videos. So Google wants to put out a new service, and they want the employees of Google to understand what that service is. They'll do an internal corporate video. Or if you go to a trade show and you see someone talking about the drill, it's typically an actor making a commercial type corporate video, or industrial they're called sometimes. A lot of what I call regional commercials, Safe Mart, Good Feet, kind of the more local, but a lot of casino ads. You see them on the freeway, you see the casinos. That's a lot of people who have been through these doors. A lot of people who are actors, but because we're in a commercial market, I still say that modeling is acting. It's just acting in one frame. You're still telling a story. So I get a lot of people say, I don't want to be an actor, I just want to be a model. Well, you're still acting as a model. It's just one frame, but you're acting. This is my, no, you're acting. I love this, it's so good. And we did expression work this last Wednesday, right? Most commercials are about selling goods, services, right? Or ideas. So a good would be Pepsi. Service would be carpet cleaning. An idea would be, your kids watch way too much TV. Or earthquake preparedness or something like that. PSAs, or another commercial that happens around here. Voiceover, anything from radio commercials to voiceover on broadcast commercials to, I'm the voice of a toy out there, a leapfrog toy somewhere out there in the world. So there's lots of different opportunities for that type of work as well. Modeling, there's not much high fashion modeling in San Francisco, and if it's here, it's not paid typically. There's a lot of, let's get your face out there, right? Let's get you on the runway, but typically it's about exposure, not so much about getting paid. Also, I always say that's a good thing, because in the commercial market, we don't have to fit a certain exact body type to be a model, right? Seen the Pine Sol lady? Right? Have you seen Flo, the progressive girl? Right? She's an actor, and she's also a model because she's selling, that insurance. She's so funny. The Verizon guy, who's no longer the Verizon guy, now he's a Sprint guy.
Oh, yeah.
Switch.
Right? Smart marketing, right? And look at the reaction. This is the goal of commercial. It's about selling an idea or making us be happy that we're, to try, buy, or to be rewarded for using a product, service, or an idea. Film. Film here is mostly independent, student type work. If there are feature films coming through here, typically they're looking for background work, extras, ambiance enhancers. And I say this about extra work. It's fun to do a couple of times, and it's a good insight into what's happening in the film, in production. It's not something that you'd want to put on your resume as a credit if you're trying to get work in a market like LA or New York. But it's fun to do. There is some TV here. So there's a couple of broadcast production companies that do work for Discovery ID channel. There's a lot of Wives with Knives, I Almost Got Away with It, those types of shows, and Holly does a lot of the work on those, which I'm sure you'll probably talk about that later. There's also a Japanese production company here that does some work for broadcast in Japan. Most of these shows are reenactment type shows, so there are lines, and you can be featured and even get the lead. Not union. And by union, I mean SAG-AFTRA, and that's a discussion that we could have maybe in a bit. Long story short, about being a member of the union in this market, don't do it yet. As an actor, if you're a member of the union, you can only do union work, and there's not much here. So don't, a lot of people say, I'm an actor, I woke up one day and I'm gonna be an actor, I'm gonna be a serious actor, I'm gonna join the union. And they find a way to do it too soon, and they don't wanna live in a market like LA or New York, and they kind of cut their legs off from underneath them when it comes to opportunities to act. Doesn't have anything to do with modeling, there's no union for modeling. Again, lucky we're in a commercial market. So, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, so this is Steve's presentation. That's the pre-planned speech. Here's the presentation. Anything else? Any questions so far on what I just said before I get going? Any questions on, and don't be afraid to ask questions because it stretches the time and I fill it up. Yes?
Oh, there was something you said about if you're going to do extras, if you're going to be an extra out in this market, it's not good to put it on your resume? If you're,
In this market, you might add it.
okay, but if you're going to go to LA,
Right.
you're going to do.
I wouldn't call it something that you put on IMDb or anything like that. It's, here, if you're submitting to an agency your first time, they expect that a lot of actors in this market will have been on these shows, films. Typically, the Discovery ID type shows, almost everyone gets some kind of line, because yes, yeah. So they're pretty good at giving everyone who's in that show at least a bit of speaking role. Typically, they'll do that, which gives you a nice / featured or co-star credit.
Doesn't raise your paycheck.
Does not raise the paycheck. And I don't want to. How do I say this? There are broadcast TV opportunities here. HBO does stuff here. There's been, quite the feature film business that comes through here. It's not so much, and let me tell you why. This has nothing to do with San Francisco being awful. California is making it harder for films to be profitable, to be shot here profitably. So a lot of film and TV, is being shot in markets like Atlanta or Vancouver, Washington, or Portland, Oregon, because there are tax advantages, there are rebates being given to the companies that come through there. So it's, why not make a film and get a rebate from Atlanta, from Georgia? So it's strictly financial, but they'll still do it, right? Sometimes they'll do what's called kind of covert stuff. They'll go over to Treasure Island and they'll shoot San Francisco from Treasure Island because it's not in San Francisco, and they'll get their panoramic, establishing shot of San Francisco at midnight for nothing. They don't get a permit; they just do it. But they do it. But yes, that's something I would, in this market when you're first getting started, why not? They expect that. But if you're looking to attract an agent like in LA or a manager in LA, TJ Stein, who's a really good friend of mine, who's a manager in Los Angeles, says, the moment I see that, I know this is someone who's so new, they didn't know not to put it on their resume. And if you have no credits, list in this market, list your developmental experience. I'm taking this class, I'm taking this workshop, I have done, this theater, I've done, don't put years, because some of us, I did a play in 1982. I'm not going to put, I'm not going to put that credit for 19. I'm just going to say I did the credit, but it wasn't or for any work that you're doing. That adds a level of prejudgment when they're looking at your resume. The other thing, let's talk about resumes. So, can I look at your resume, Joey?
Sure.
So, on the back of his headshot, it's stapled all four corners, his resume. This lists his status in non-union, his contact information, some stats about his eyes, hair, shoe size, height, shirt, whatever you want to add there that doesn't make it go off, one page. If you are of a certain age, don't put your age unless you're under 18. Don't put your age. How old am I? How old do I look? I have no ego, so how old do I look?
30s?
30, 40.
I'll be 52 next week. Yeah. So you know, if I put 52 on the back of my resume, people are going to think a certain thing about me, right? I play 35, 45 all the time. So don't add that level of prejudgment to your resume. In this market, do anything commercial first. So film, do commercial work, print work, then do your stage work after that. Anything else kind of, because again, we're in a commercial market. Agencies here are not getting rich off of TV and film work. They're not getting rich at all. But, but they, you know, this is a commercial market. Their bread and butter is commercial actors. So show them your commercial potential and work. And then here's this training. So add your training next. And then the last thing you might want to put on your resume, and with my clients, I coach you on all of this all the way through the process, right? So we make sure that you're an expert in the business as a parent or a talent or both, long before this even becomes an issue, right? We want to make sure that you are, that one chance that you're putting yourself out there the first time, that you're doing it right. Because so many people do it wrong. We'll talk about what's wrong. But your special skills down here, singing, first degree black belt, good job. You know, so there's things already. Put your stupid humor tricks here. I can cross my eyes, right? I can raise one eyebrow. Because think about commercials. Silly things happen in commercials. I always say commercials are dumb. I'm not disparaging the industry, but they're dumb. They're designed to make us remember them. They're designed, you know, is your skin thirsty? Right? Hello. It's going to be huge. You know, it's huge. But your resume, yes, staple in the back of your headshot when you're submitting, or when you are. If you can even print it on the back, that's good too. But not all printers can handle that thickness of paper, or if it's photo paper, you can't print on photo paper. So stapling is the most commonly accepted form. Okay, any other questions before I get into Steve's presentation?
She has a question, but she lost her voice.
Okay.
So she wants to mention something about video games.
Yeah, video games are actually outselling all forms of media now. They outsell music, they outsell albums, they outsell anything. In video games, there's a need for voices because these aren't typically real people. So you'll be the voice, you could be the voice of any of the characters. This could be a sound effect that you make, you know, whatever. You could be, that's what's fun about voiceover. The thing about voiceover is it's just like anything else. It's a skill, and it's got a certain expectation of when you are submitting for voiceover, you have a voiceover demo. And that has to be a demo that's done in a very, you know, high quality professional environment. But you can put your silly voices on your resume, you know. I can do, you know, whatever. It's silly, stupid human tricks, but why not? And it works on photo shoots to get the kids to smile.
Right.
Yeah. And the adults sometimes. But yeah, voiceover is this another opportunity in this market. I did one recently for Sleep Train. Yeah, just another one. So close. Actually, let me tell you something about auditions. Auditions, like I said earlier, it's one of those things that we need to understand as actors. It's not about us. It's not about our heart, our mind, who we are, right? Commercial work is about selling, branding, and are you right for this particular piece? So we'll cast people when they come in for the casting or the audition, people of a certain type, and then when you walk in and audition, 65% of the first audition is just how you look. Do you kind of fit what we kind of thought? So yes, people walk in and they're so nervous they're going to get all the words wrong, and they're ask them when I sleep.
What's your name?
Hi, good morning. My name is Steve Cozart.
What do you like to do for fun?
The internet's fun.
Can I see your profiles?
What? It's new new auditioners. It's so intense, and it's just show up, relax. Then, if there's a callback, then it's probably more about, the delivery, right? Your skills, your technical skills. We need to have technical skills. No one's going to say, you've got potential, kid, I'm going to make you a star. No one's ever going to say that. This is the media's way of, even the older media way of saying how people get, quote, discovered. No, discover yourself. Brand yourself. And that's why we're here today. We want to have you create a brand, how to market that brand, and how to show up consistently so that people see Keely, they know what Keely's brand is. She has a range, right, of character types. So types are different than brand. Your brand is, my brand is, I'm a goofy dad. I'm cast as a goofy dad more than anything else. But I have types that I can show up and audition for. I can be evil, I can be serious, I can be corporate, I can be, messy, whatever. There's different types. So understand the difference. People say, what's my type? Usually brunettes. Anyway. Kidding! I was thinking what Laura's hair color is right now. Okay, so this is my guide to actors' headshots and photos. Yes, do you want to interject?
Before we start
Yes.
this amazing part of the show,
Thank you very much.
I just want to tell you that Steve's going to be speaking to you about his side of this as he has. Then I'm going to speak to you about image and branding yourself, makeup, hair, wardrobe. And then Jasmine Partita over here is going to be talking about the internet and how to brand yourself online and on print and to the
And all of that. Yes, thank you for that. And we realize that we've got a limited amount of time today, so is it okay if we'll show you as much as I can in the time that we have, and then is it okay if I show you later how to get more if you want it? Okay, thank you. Everyone breathe? Okay. This is what I say to everybody. All in the eyes. We can tell a story with what our eyes are saying in the photograph. When we are being cast on those casting sites that we all subscribe to, if you're not there yet, our picture is about this big on the screen when they are going through all of the actors or models. If you can stand out, if you see some people's headshots, sometimes they're way over in the corner and there's all this space over here. It's okay to be a little bit off center. Matter of fact, you'll notice my style is a little bit off center for headshots. Not always, but I call it three sides touching. But you want to fill up that frame so that when you are an icon on a screen, a thumbnail, that you pop out. And your eyes, of course, are the always say the windows to the soul. So be sure to, your photographer understands that. Let's talk about photographers. So, your wedding photographer is not your headshot photographer. Your kid with a new iPhone is not your headshot photographer, right? Your cousin Larry, who's got a new awesome Rebel Canon XL, whatever, is not your headshot photographer. You need people who understand actors' headshots, models' headshots, understand the market in which you live. LA headshots are different than San Francisco headshots and New York headshots. And what, again, depending on your brand, how is that going to be shot? Is it going to be in studio, outside? How's your hair? We'll see some of these different styles as we go through here. But what's always consistent to me is, are the eyes helping to tell the story? Acting in one frame. So, what do you wear for your headshots? I say stick with very simple monochromatic colors. I would never wear this typically for my headshot. This might be something for a commercial shot. But you'll notice that the blues look great on everybody, by the way. So blues, teals, it's a great color. I would show up in an audition in that color any day.
It's an audition dress.
Yes.
All my audition dresses are this color.
Yeah. This is the most favorable color on most everybody. If you are going to wear layers, again, she's sticking with the blues. Blues, teals, aquas, amazing. Unless otherwise directed. If you're asked, to have a headshot with a specific color, like you have an agent who says, "I'd like to see you in a wine color," or something like that, then then you'll follow that direction. But marketing yourself initially, stick with those basic colors. Black is okay depending on how it looks, how it fits. one of my headshots is in black shirt. Yours is in a black shirt. So it depends on, again, us. But like it says here, you can never go wrong with simple colors. Keep everything well fitted. Keep it new. Please make sure it's wrinkle free. Two things that we can't get out of headshots very well in Photoshop: wrinkles in your clothes, not these. These are easy. I don't do that much either. And then when you have hairs that are just going everywhere across your face, that's a little bit tough to get out as well. But wrinkles are almost impossible to get out of clothes. Here's a slide that I'm going to be talking a lot about, and then Holly's also going to be speaking from this later on. Look like you on your best day. That doesn't mean, you know, all a bunch of makeup. Simple backgrounds. Ross is on blue-gray there. Anyone know Joe Levy down there? She's on almost every casino ad there is. That looks just like her. And she's 60-something. She looks fantastic. No heavy makeup. Keep it natural. With kids, little kids especially, you know, we don't want to use any makeup ever. Now, if they're shiny, maybe a little powder, sometimes a little chapstick or something like that to keep their lips not looking cracked, but we don't want to make kids look like pageant kids. Please, if you're going to get your hair cut, do it not the day of or the day before your headshot shoot. Let your hair kind of relax a little bit. Even if it's your perfect cut, your hair is in a little bit of shock. I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but when I get a haircut, I almost get this little tiny allergic reaction. Like I feel like I need a Benadryl. Maybe I just like Benadryl. Oh, there were my key points. Keep your hair neat, right? And then groom. I don't care how old you are or what gender you are. Stuff grows places. Just saying. Stuff grows here, stuff grows here, stuff grows here. And if you need any help with that, look in the mirror and do this. Right? And get your loved one to help you. A lot of people say, oh, I'm really sensitive about the fur on my face. There's ways to get rid of your fur that aren't going to make it grow back. Yeah, we can talk about that. Clean and whitened teeth, clear eyes. We shoot extremely high definition, right, David? And when I am looking at your photos after we shoot, I'm getting down to your pupils sometimes and zooming in there to make sure that everything looks good, that it's tack sharp, focused. So it helps to have all of these things done. The night before your shoot, don't do what I did last night and have chips and stuff like that. So relax, at night before. Alcohol and salt, red wine, all that stuff, different reasons. Red wine stains your mouth and your teeth. Alcohol and salt will tend to have you retain a bit of puffiness. So don't go crazy the night before, and of course get some sleep. People ask me all the time, what kind of headshots? Do I want theatrical or do I want commercial? You can create both in the same shoot. This is a commercial market, so when you're submitting to a commercial agent, I would recommend the commercial, which is the more smiley, the lighter. What is a kind of literal difference, description between the two? Sometimes a theatrical or dramatic headshot is a bit more serious. It's kind of stating who you are. I'm a serious actor. This is a bit more salesy, smiley. They're both. She's a beautiful example of what that can be. Just changing your expression. If you don't like your smile, change it. That makes sense? Sounds really kind of mean. People say, I don't like my smile. Then change it. Practice. Do a half smile. You don't have to be snooky the whole time. Right? You can just relax. And a good photographer and coach will help you with this. Be careful when you book a photographer that is worried about how many frames or clicks that they're going to be shooting. And, because if you're the kind of photographer that's counting down from 40 to 0, you're going to feel pressure to get that, that smile. If it's okay to ask to see the photos too, as he or she are shooting you. It's okay. You know, I like the show, especially when you've done something really cool. That's how that feels, and this is how it looks. That's an amazing moment, and you'll remember that. So, commercial is what I would focus on mainly, and then if you can get a theatrical, fantastic. I have what I call the 5 T's to looking great and feeling great on photos. This is just number 5. This is what I call the turtle. So many of us, when we're conditioned, especially as kids, when we're being cute, don't do the camera out, we go. And what that does is creates a thickness in your neck and your chin, yes? It also lowers your eyes, and the turtle is just a basic forward and down. Forward and down. Kind of like a letter C from your chest up to the tip of your chin. And for everyone, it takes a little practice. Get someone with a camera, practice it. It helps also if the camera is above your eye line, or at least equal to your eye line. When you're below somebody's eye line, especially, don't ever do this as a photographer. Unless you're talking about a stick-thin model, right, and you're far away, get some compression. If you're shooting headshots from below your eye line, you're probably going to look heavier than that thickness. What the camera sees first, the camera sees largest. Okay? There's also a trend for a photographer to get way up high from us. And then we have this kind of a looking up at the camera, which can thin out some necks, but it can also elongate your forehead. So this is something to practice. And be careful when you're practicing it in front of an actual headshot shoot, because what I get is a lot of this. Am I doing it? Am I doing it? It's like this feel. So this was, click, click. I just had to move forward a bit. Also, what it did in this instance, because there was some flash involved, is give that little bit of a shadow. I would never use that as a headshot. This is just in general. But you do want to have a little bit of that if you tend to be a bit heavy in here. It doesn't matter how old we are, how young we are. In the commercial market, there are no restrictions, no rules, no, when I ask you how tall you are, it's just for my own personal information. Although, we can sometimes be too tall, right? Have you experienced this?
I always wear heels that I can slip off,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know who you go in for.
Yes.
So sometimes it helps to be tall, and then other times I'll literally slip off. When I walk into the room, I'll gauge it, and I'll slip off my heels and walk in barefoot to be as short as possible.
You can be too tall. There are some commercial agents that I know a couple of my clients have come through here, and I'll tell them the first day, at 6'5", man, you are tall. It's hard to match you up with other actors or models. I actually lost a gig once. I was booked for it was a hiking, any mountain project, and the night before the shoot, they called me up and said, "We're going to have to release you." No actor likes to hear that. And why? Well, the person who was going to play my wife in the scene or in the shoot got sick, and the person who they hired to replace her was much shorter than me. We didn't match. I can do it. I can do this. No. Again, not my heart, not my brain. It's how I look. It's not a rejection. This is not a business of rejection. This is a business of selection. You're being selected, right? So when people say, "I've been in this business for 6 months," it's so full of rejection. 6 months is not long. 6 years is not long. 5 years, you're still a baby in this business, right? I've been doing this for 30 years.
So it's more rejection than selection.
It's selection. We see it as rejection because we don't get selected, right? You can nail the audition, get every single thing right, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a really great audition," but it doesn't match XYZ. Or, we thought maybe, the beard style is blah, blah, blah. It's just, you never know. It has nothing to do with who we are. That doesn't mean that we should not practice and be trained and understand this craft and this business 100%. We will go farther and feel more comfortable in this business if we understand that it is a business. We are starting a business, a store, us being the brand. We are the product. So we have to think about marketing ourselves honestly, effectively, often, and frequently. Oh, that came in there again. Stuff to avoid. I showed you what to do. What you want to avoid. Some pretty obvious things here. Wear her clothes. She did the whole bare shoulder. She had, and I've seen these shots, and she doesn't look like she's wearing a shirt, and it's overlit. Her eyes are beautiful, and she has a little too much eye makeup on too. She has this dark eyeliner, and it doesn't look natural. It's so bright, her part is being lit up all the way up into her scalp. So be careful of that. The middle one, that's distracting lighting. This is a common male lighting technique called a kicker on this side. That's a little too much, and it's actually creating a distracting layer on his cheek there. Not, in my opinion, good lighting. And then, of course, tragic use of hands. Never put your hands in your headshot. A lot of people do this, or this, or this, and never have your hand in your headshot. And that's, again, really bad lighting. And she's doing what? Tilting away from the lens, which is creating a heaviness in her neck. She should be coming forward. Practice that turtle. Sometimes I'll have people literally do this and have them get used to this, and then we'll back it off a little bit. And I think, I'm gonna look crazy. No, I'm not shooting this, I'm shooting this. Right? It creates a separation. What he is doing there that I do like is he has a kind of an angle to the camera, so it's not a symmetrical shoulder line. He has at least a little bit of an angle there. She has this over the shoulder shot, which again I don't recommend. So, what other kind of photography do we need? So, we have a headshot. So, in the old days, headshots were kind of always in black and white. This is a client, I think this was 20 years ago. He was born in 91. Ben Bookbinder, we got an agent down in LA, Osprey. He was on, this is how old this is, The Grinch That Stole Christmas. He was cast in that as the mayor of Whoville.
Oh, wow.
Right, little chubby kid. He used to go around the set drawing pictures on other people's headshots and posters. These days, of course, we want full color, big smile, really attractive. This is him 100%. Guess what color he's wearing? Kids, it's all in the eyes, right? Rebecca, this is a little bit more of a theatrical shot. Mike, so up there is Mike, and this is his commercial. So that's more of a theatrical shot, darker environment. So, headshots, yes. Lifestyle photography, commercial photography. This is what would go on what we used to call a Z card or a comp card. We don't print these out much anymore. There's hardly any call for them in this market. Model cards, sometimes they're called. If you were in LA or New York, especially in New York when you were a model, you would take examples of the work that you've done and compile them into a comp card, which is examples of your work. So here's Mike, an ad, and then other examples. Very kind of lifestyle. He's doing stuff. He's interacting with stuff. He's creating a point of view. Here's like a Men's Warehouse thing. This is an active, he's my age, or a little bit older, so I'm going to do an active, mature kind of thing. So, also in this market, we want to talk about product and services. So she's interacting with technology, she's got glasses, this could be about the bag. Who knows what this is about, but it's kind of like a vignette from what you might see in a catalog. This is about headphones, just shot on a white background, full body or 3/4. And health and wellness medical is really big for people in this market. There's a lot of health and wellness ads, Sutter, Kaiser, John Muir. There's technology, so a lot of the Silicon Valley kind of technology stuff. So we want to make sure that in your repertoire, in your portfolio, you might say, as you're seeking representation, you're creating these types in your photography to show your range. There's a couple more. You just saw Mike in the middle. Fashion print, kind of catalog print over there on the right. Definitely not headshots, of course. And it definitely will show more of you, 3/4 or full body. And this is valuable to have in your online portfolio/resume. It's a way, again, when you're submitting to an agency to show your range of types. How am I doing on time? 48. And I am offering photo shoots. Today, I have a special deal for each of you. A single look, basically, I put times on here because I have to, but anyone who shot with me knows I hardly ever stick to a time frame. I'm an overshooter. We shoot in studio, choice of backdrop color, bring an outfit. You get every shot that I shoot, you get to keep. I'm not that kind of photographer, you just own them all. But you pick your two favorites. So you might think commercial and theatrical, maybe, or too commercial. I will touch them up. I love to touch up your photo, but I don't make it not look like you. That makes sense? A lot of people say, can you take away all my wrinkles? No. I will not. I will make you look fantastic, but I will, we can't show up not looking like ourselves when we go to an audition. Or most of you who don't yet have an agent, when you're submitting to an agency and you walk in, you need to look like your photo. It's false advertising. And of course, high resolution. I give you both a high resolution and a web size because high resolution, we're talking about 24 to 48 megabytes. It's too big to put onto a web page or something like that. How do you use these photos? And then there's a three-look shot, and you'll get a presentation with this on it. We do a bit more, and then also we have a 5-look pro. This is where you can get your headshots and your commercial work all in the same shoot. Everything that we do is planned, so nothing's left to chance, right? We make sure that everything that you're going to wear, everything that you might need to gather and shop for, everything that you need to bring as far as props, locations, all around different locations so that it looks like it should look. And then we use this as a home base, and we come here. Holly is really great at working with your hair and your makeup to make sure that there's a nice variation in the looks. And we feed you, all that fun stuff, to make sure it's a really fun experience. If you've never done a photo shoot before, this is the shoot that you want to do. Because we're teaching you, while we're shooting, we're teaching you your best angles, your best expressions, that smile, how to pose without looking posy, how we're going to market these. And then we shoot each vignette in a variation so that, let's just say you do get an agent and they love this photo, here, for example, but do you have it without the headband? Yes, because I've shot it. We think about all the accessories, we think about all of the variations that we can do in the same vignette so that you have those photos. After the shoot, I upload everything to Dropbox. It's a cloud service. You and I work together to find the best shots for, again, you get to keep them all, but the ones that we're going to edit and send with your submission to the agencies, if that's what you want to do. If you already have an agent, it's supplementing what you already have. Most agencies really want us to have new photos every year. Kids, little kids especially, like every 6 months because they change so quickly. So understand, again, this is a business and you are starting, or you have a business, and this is a business expense. It's a tax write-off.
Yes.
Anything that you do in this business, when you say, yes, I'm going to do this, that maintains your skill level, your appearance, your stupid human tricks, right? Go take golf lessons. It's a tax write-off because you can't fake a golf swing in a commercial, right?
Can I just say one thing on that?
Sure.
Because I just got audited. Please keep your miles.
Yes.
I literally had to quit my job for 1 whole month and just do a mileage card from 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a write-off, and if you write it off, that is fine, but they may come back and say, is this really your job or is this a hobby? And you better have it all, so keep track of everything.
Yeah.
As you would a business.
Yeah. And
There are apps for that.
so there are apps to do
Yeah.
it. And how you keep track of it is more than just a book, a logbook. There are apps for it too, but I was audited too in the past, not too long ago. And I had to supply my calendar, which showed the appointment, where it was, how many miles round trip it was to and from this thing, and then also any receipts and odometer readings and things like that. So
keep it.
So for my clients, I coach you on this stuff, right? So that you understand how this works, so you don't get yourself caught up in a situation. So important. Ta-da! So this is a bit about headshots and photography. It's so important. It's so important. This is the very first thing. Matter of fact, when you send off a packet to an agency, you don't want your cover letter first. You don't want your resume first. You want your headshot first and foremost. So when they open up this packet, they see, and then they want to see more. By the way, your cover letter should be like 3 sentences. Hi, my name is, I'm seeking representation in San Francisco. I was recommended to you by Steve Cozart from SLC Talent Factory. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. That's it. They don't care about anything else. They don't want to see your life story, what you've done already. You know, agencies here. Think about what an agency does. They're kind of like used car salesmen. Not putting them down, but they have a bunch of cars, right? Each of these is a car, and they have got to find work, or they don't make any money. Because an agency, you don't pay an agency until they get a percentage of what you work. Anyone understand that? If an agent wants you to pay them, they're not an agency. They may have fees for little things here and there. I think Scout agency in San Francisco does $200 a year, something, for marketing you on their website. That's a pass-through expense again, is a write-off for you. But you'll never pay them up front. Ever pay an agent up front. Anyway, so here's you, and you've given them all these great tools. It's easy to market you because you have a great headshot, both physical and digital. It's accessible. It's on that casting website. You've given them digitals for their internal marketing websites and tools. You're making your brand very easy to sell. And then you're more often to be sent on to auditions. And then, of course, you use your skills of winning auditions to be able to book a gig so you can work, and they get 20% of that, right? Unless it's union work, then it's 10%. But there's not much union work here. Most everything is 20%. If you're down here and you can't be seen because you haven't updated your headshot lately, maybe you haven't been in communication with them, you turned down 3 or 4 auditions because you're busy, you're not accessible, you're not flexible with your time, they're not going to spend their valuable time trying to force you to go to an audition. It's easier to sell this person, right? It's kind of like the used car lot. There are the classic easy selling vehicles they put in the very front, right? You drive by, Corvette's awesome. I'm going to buy that Corvette. Try and chew. Keep your brand in the utmost mind of your agency. Doesn't mean you're calling them every day saying, what are you doing for me? What are you doing for me? What are you doing for me? They hate that. They hate that. What you can do is once a month go by, hey, I thought you guys might want some popcorn or some chips or some cookies, right? Or update your headshot. Or, yeah, whatever. Just bribe them a little bit. They love that stuff. They only make money when you do. So make it easy, please. Any other questions on this? Before I give you a break, and then the lovely and talented Holly will come up next. Questions back there? I mean, brand new to all this. Are you feeling good about what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I'm a coach, so I ask questions and I provide information. And the goal of what I do here, because I do work mostly actually with adults, and I do a lot of kids stuff. And, hi, Mom. That's the only first. Yes.
I know that they'll say you resubmit your headshots and resumes every so many months to agencies when you're trying to get booked with one. Is there a particular time of year that it's more beneficial? Maybe there's more work out there that you submit it in January, or is there a time of year that's better to submit?
I can answer that in maybe a reverse way. Right now is a horrible time to submit. The end of August is horrible because they are all doing their last minute vacations before, if they have kids, or it's just a bad time for an agency for you to submit your stuff. And a month is a great time. Also, remember how corporate budgets work. Most budgets are when? They start usually fourth quarter. So think about it, if I'm Sears and I want to spin up an advertising campaign, my budget starts in September, right? So I'm going to be more apt to do more advertising and create more work. So agencies will typically start looking for new talent or some submission at that point. So end of fall and end of summer is not the best time. Another time when things are kind of drying up is the end of the year. the last 2 weeks of December. Double-edged sword though. Not a good time to submit, but it's a good time to be available. So if you already have an agent, I don't know how many times that I've gotten called on December 28th saying, there's no one in town. Can you do this gig, this last minute, catalog gig or whatever? Yes, I'm available. That's gold to your agent, right? And again, having strong lifestyle photography to help market that makes it easy, plus your headshot. You don't need to print out any more these. I don't recommend, unless you really want to, comp cards. Have a digital comp card of your, like you do a photo shoot in 5-look, you've got your 4, 5, and then your 2 headshots. I do recommend though having at least 50 to 100 of your headshots printed as you're submitting to the agencies. One, you're submitting in packets to about 14 agencies, so that's 14 of the 100 that are gone. And then when the agency wants to sign you, they're going to want about 30 or 40. So then about half of your headshots are gone at that point. When you go to an audition, you'll always bring your 1 or 2 of those with you. They may not always ask for them, but it's always good to have them. So yeah, I would say that the end of August and the end of December are the least good time.
That's the only time I've ever submitted.
Really? Isn't that funny? That's
I feel
funny.
much better though now.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't submitted much, but when I have submitted, it's always been this time.
Yeah. And now I'm glad you said it's awesome. Yay! Any other questions? Hi, Ted.
Or,